Hello folks, welcome to another episode here on Airsoft Ninja's channel. And a while ago somebody asked, "Hey Ninja, can you do an armory video?" Well, here it is. Here's my armory. That's the door that opens to my armory where my armor is, my melee weapons. There's the sword I use at Code Red. There are my shields. There's a whole bunch of junk, some BBs. And there are my real swords, and there's all my airsoft gears right here, mine and those of my teammates. Sometimes I keep guns of my teammates just because they can't store them all the time. Anyhow, let's start with my most used gun. This is Faith. Faith is a GMP baby monster. I've ran I don't know how many rounds through this gun. At least 150,000 at least. It has stood me for a long time. I've only had to actually repair it once. It took a while to repair though, but anyways, here it is. I've used this gun for a very long time, shoot at around 350 FPS. I can use it just about anywhere, which is awesome. Next we have my hybrid gun. My hybrid M4 here that has stood me for about 3 years. Has probably shoot out about 100,000 rounds, and I have to constantly dig back into her and rework on her when she gets stubborn. Melissa here shoots at 390 FPS, effective up to 70 yards. This is the gun I use when I don't feel like running so much around with Faith. Matter of fact, as it stands right now, it seems Faith is my walk-on gun and Melissa here is my Milsim gun. Next up, I have this Matrix shotgun that I barely use. Most of the time I would only use it at Forge. It doesn't shoot very far, but it's a tri-shot. It is very useful in Forge actually. Got a lot of folks with it, and it is the older version, stockless, where the fore-end clocks all the way, which is something I like, and it's also very short barrel. It's also something I like a lot. By the way, all the guns you see here, you can find them easily on eVike or Airsoft GI or AEX, any of those places will do. And next up, we have my MP7. Another gun that I rarely use. I usually only use gas guns indoor, which restrict me down to Taxity, Forge, Inside Interactive, Patriot, places like that. All stock parts, I put a CQB bolt in there just so it shoots under 350. I've had this gun repaired a couple times, and actually I've had it a couple years. Now you may ask, Ninja, how come some of your guns have names and some of them don't? Well, those that doesn't have names are basically ones I have not used enough, therefore not worthy of a name. Anyhow, my next up are my sidearms. There's the KWA M93R. This is the KWA G18 or the ATP, and then I have HFC M9. I rarely use sidearms, so I don't upgrade them, and they just like to misbehave a lot anyhow, so I rarely use them. But when I use them and when they are working, it works just fine. I find these guns are some of the best sidearms on the market anyhow. Have had them for a while. Except the M9, someone sold it to me in Code Red. Still works fine. These are all great guns. I just rarely use gas gun as is. So therefore you don't really see them a lot in my videos. Next up, I have my special sidearms. This is the Deuce. I thought it could replace the grenade launcher being it lighter, but that's not always the case. This is the Maruzen, the Ranger. I've used it actually only once, and that was used to actually bang someone. And that was actually 8mm the Ranger, and that's kind of rare. It's kind of hard to find sometimes. And then you've seen these grenade launchers, these flare guns looking grenade launchers. I've used them every now and then. They're very useful. I don't like those big grenade launchers, being the grenades is what actually fire well anyway, so the smaller the grenade launcher, the better. And now these are the guns that are not mine, but my teammates. This is Lucy. Lucy here is Echo 1 PKM. Probably the biggest gun on the market besides the minigun. Lucy's effective up to 80 yards, I believe, and she has shot hundreds and hundreds of people, if not by the thousands. She's a heavy girl, about 15 pounds altogether, so swinging this thing around is quite a job. You can ask Legion why he named this gun Lucy. I don't know why. I named my guns after certain values or people I know, so there it is. And next up we have Legion's other gun he calls Abigail, which is the World War II SNT PPSH. Being a World War II submachine gun at the time, submachine gun are much bigger. It looks cool. It seems cool. It works like a Thompson. It uses the Thompson mag. Legion has upgraded into it, and it works really darn well. You may also ask, hey Ninja, I see a bunch of real swords. They look really cool. Can you tell me about them? Well, that's for another video whenever I have the time to do a review of my real swords. Some of them are just wall hangers, by the way. They're not as real as you think it can be, and I do have other real swords. Anyways, this is another World War II gun, the Grease Gun M3, which belongs to my friend Rasmadan, who is also on my team. It's a very cool gun. It looks almost like the MP40, and it can be very easily mistaken if you don't know your guns well. It has a really fast fire rate, being Raz uses LiPo in this gun. It's a very good gun, what else can I say? And now let's get to our melee weapons that I do use in Airsoft. This is the Buster Sword, inspired by Cloud's Strife of his Buster Sword when Zach passed it down to him before he started using the multiple sword. Anyways, it weighs actually only about 3 pounds. It's mostly foam. There's a center core pipeline in there, but that's about it. The whole thing is practically foam. It's great for killing zombies. I use it both at Code Red and Jericho. And at times it does have a slow swing just because it's such a big weapon. You can look at the gun bag next to this weapon just to judge how big it is. However, it is very effective, it has a very far range and a very broad shoulder, so to speak. So you can poke and swing and just push zombies around. I love it. It's very useful in zombie games. And yes, I actually do have a real Buster Sword. That thing weighs about 20 pounds. You don't want to lift it. It's quite heavy to swing around. But it's actually practical to a certain extent. And then I do have a multiple sword that is still but not very practical. Anyways, here's the sword I use the most. This is Shadow. It's just a nerf sword. It has been used for 5 years. I first started using it in Hollywood Sports when I was first given the name Ninja. I've used it for a long time. You can see some bend on it, but I've held it together with duct tape and tried to make a fire graphic down on the flames of the sword, which looks really cool. I also have a foregrip at the end of the sword to give it some balance, and also a Velcro mole thing. I can actually hold my hand in the sword, hold that thing part while gripping a sidearm at the same time. It's very useful. I use it in dueling sometimes, but this is not my main dueling weapon. However, I've used this sword more than I could count. Sometimes I even tie that Deranger to that sword, which is really cool. I've only used that once though. anyways, here's my dueling weapon. I've dueled people with when we are trying to decide who goes, which team goes first and things like that. This is just a foam katana. I found this in Party City, and then I decided to deck it out, taped it up so it holds together well. This is the weapon I use to duel Bob with. This is the weapon I will use to continue dueling when I'm off the field. On a one-on-one dueling situation, I would be using this weapon. I may use this as a side weapon when I'm killing zombies. It doesn't have that far enough reach, however, for a zombie-related thing, being most games, zombies only need to touch you once. But this is a great dueling weapon. I love it. It's based off a real katana length, 28-inch blade, 36-inch overall. And there is a little strap at the end of the blade where sometimes I would use it by grabbing just the cloth, the strapping, and swing around like a kusarigama. Just another tactic on how I use that blade. So anyways, that's my weaponry. Hope you guys enjoy it. Here comes my armor. This is what I use for Milsim event when I need to wear something green. This is what I use for Milsim, blah blah blah. Anyhow, let's get to the real thing. So Ninja, what are you wearing? I don't see it in any airsoft shop. Well, you won't. It is a motocross armor. This is the EVS G6. I've outfitted this armor specifically for airsoft, put a bunch of stuff on there that you would use. You may also ask, hey Ninja, where do you get that helmet? I also can't find it anywhere. Well, obviously you can't, because it is also homemade. Now, the stuff you can get on my helmet would be that thermal lens right there, which never fogs. They're wonderful lens. Use them when you can get a chance. Use other thermal lens if you ever have fogging problems with your goggles. I also use the Replay XD, which fits right in front of my goggles without blocking my peripheral vision, giving me that first-person view you see in my videos. GoPro wouldn't let me do that. If I put the GoPro right in front of my eyes, it would just block my eyes. But the Replay XD is small enough. The gloves are just regular airsoft gloves you find anywhere from Matrix. I just put guitar picks at the tip of them just to protect my fingertips and to also make it look cool. The helmet is shaped out of aluminum sheet from Home Depot with duct tape held together. Here's the before and after effects of the armor I refitted. Stay in tune for more. As always, please like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Also follow me on Facebook to find out where I will go playing next. Hopefully I will see you on the field and we can be buddies and have lots of fun. Airsoft Ninja clocking out.